Would you like to ask the I Ching a question about something in your life right now? You don't need all the books. All you really need is 3 coins, a piece of paper, and about 15 to 20 minutes. We'll have to pause the video a couple times. So if you want to do it, let's get started, or save this for later. If you want to do it now, pause the video and go get your piece of paper and your 3 coins. The first thing to do is the most important: how to frame the question. So think of your first response when I say, "What do you want to ask the oracle?" Write down the first thing that comes to mind. That probably will be the question you want to ask. But after that, you want to refine it and pause, stop, think about it. Think about the best way that you want to ask this. And if you don't exactly know what you want to ask, but you do know the topic, one of the simplest things you can do is simply say, "What is my best response to this situation?" Take a minute or two to really get it as good as you can. Once you have your questions figured out, let me show you how to throw the coin 6 times to get the hexagram that you're going to read. This is my little cheat sheet for the combinations and what they yield, but I'll put this in text on the screen as well as we throw. If you have 3 tails, it is a yin line. It is a broken line, but it is a changing line, which we'll talk about later. But just record it like that with the little thing in the middle. If you have 1 head and 2 tail, that is a regular yang line, masculine energy. If you have 2 heads and 1 tail, it is a yin line, a regular one of feminine energy. And then if you have 3 heads, that is a yang line, but this one is also a changing line. So you can put this little X in the middle, or you can put it over here on the side and put your little O here on the side. So you take your coins and you start shaking them, and I like to knock in the 4 directions as a way to call in the spirits, the north and the east and the south and the west, and I say thank you to the oracle, and I hold it to my head as I think of the question, and you throw the coins. 2 heads and a tails. So I have yin for my first one. And note that you always start at the bottom and work your way up. So do your next 5 throws and find your completed hexagram. So what you actually have is 2 trigrams on top of each other. So you can pause to use this chart to see which hexagram you have of the 64 possibilities. For instance, I have the older brother over the older brother again, Khan over Khan. So I would go, here's Khan, and mine is number 29. Now that you know which hexagram you have, I recommend looking up in the Wilhelm edition, which was in German and translated by Baines. This is the old classic and most readable. And so if you simply search Wilhelm Baines and the number of your hexagram, it'll pop right up on the internet. Then on that site, you will have the exact same text as is in this book. And what I would do is read the text, and on your piece of paper, take notes about what seems the most relevant as answers to your questions, and use it as a doodle pad as well. Then once you get to the lines, for whatever you had that was a changing line, read that one. For instance, I had changing lines in the 4th place and over here in the 6th place. So I would read these as well. So once you are done taking notes on your sections, if you do have changing lines, the last thing you do is change the changing lines to their opposite. Mine was the 4th and the 6th, so I would change these 2 both to yang lines. And so that gives me a brand new hexagram. And so you go back to that chart and you look up the new hexagram, and then you just read the first section of that new hexagram. You don't read any of the lines. But they say that next hexagram is your completed hexagram. If you kind of follow through with what this first hexagram tells you, the next hexagram is where it's going to take you. So that's how you would do a I Ching reading. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments.